Five. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get something that I can put my battery pack on so it can keep charging my phone through the live stream. Except there's not anybody watching anyway, so it doesn't really make a difference. Come on. Alright, we are charging for right now. Other side. I got a couple logs split, and then once I'm done those logs, I'm gonna have to rotate the camera back. Alright, so I had to move the camera real quick because I got a couple logs on that side of the log splitter. Once I split those, I'll put my camera back where it was. So, hey, welcome to the live stream. Thanks for joining me. So I got probably less than 10 logs to split, and I'll put my camera back where it originally was. Alright, now I gotta switch my camera. Hey guys! Thank you all for watching. Thank you for the floating heart. Welcome, welcome, welcome guys. I'm gonna move my camera to the other side of this log splitter. Give me 1 second. What are your thoughts on maintenance and repair of the flywheel type splitter versus hydraulic? The flywheel type is clearly much faster. So, might as well get a break here. So, the flywheel compared to hydraulic splitter, I mean, there's maintenance on both of them, but the hydraulic splitter, there's not much maintenance. You check the oil, you check the hydraulic oil and the engine oil. Other than that, there's not much maintenance. Now, when you have this stuff like this, like the super splitter, you gotta constantly make sure that dirt doesn't build up here, because when this arm extends, there's this little wheel back here that has to keep rolling. One of the main things when I used to use a super split was either this wheel would get caught, dirt would get caught under here, and it will grind the wheel flat, and then you would have to go and replace it. These springs, there's springs right here that spring it back. Those, you have to make sure that those are always tight and not loose. Sometimes wood gets wedged underneath this plate. You have to be mindful of, or if you're splitting some logs with big knots in it, you got to watch, because you could burn that belt, shred that belt really easily that's connected to the flywheel, and then you have to replace the belt. So yes, I think there's a lot more maintenance that needs to be done on the super split versus a normal hydraulic splitter. Let's see. I got my camera the wrong way. Making toothpicks, are we? No, this is toothpicks. That's firewood. If he's selling, he needs to cater to the expectations of the customer. Yes, so a lot of my customers, they don't want big pieces of firewood. Let's see if I have some big pieces. Here's one. Ish. This is a big piece. Some customers want a piece like this. Some customers want a piece like this. Some customers want pieces like this. Some customers want pieces like this. It all depends on what they're doing. So one of the reasons I split my firewood a lot smaller is because I don't season my firewood. My firewood, I split it up, I sell it, I advertise it as half seasoned. I don't even advertise it as completely seasoned, because in the state of New Jersey, in order to advertise it as completely seasoned, completely seasoned, it has to be below 10% moisture content. I don't even know if you can even see me when I'm standing here. Here, I'll turn my... No, I can't do that. So, in the state of New Jersey, in order to sell completely seasoned firewood, it has to be below 20% moisture content, which, let me go grab a moisture meter. I'll test what some of this wood is that I'm splitting right now. It's not completely dry, but it is decently dry. I mean, it's not really dry, but it is dry. Because a lot of my firewood that I get already in logs. I don't know which side was the exposed side. So let's see how much this is right here. So this is showing 29% moisture content. Let's try this one. Whoops, 30%, 29% moisture content. So a lot of this wood is not dry. I don't really sell dry firewood because I just don't have the space. So I do advertise it as half seasoned. Now the reason I split a lot of it smaller is so it does dry a little bit faster. And in my area, a lot of people aren't really getting it for heating wood. Like they're not getting 4, 5, 6, 7 cords of wood to heat their house. They're getting drinking wood. They just want a big fire to sit around, smoke, drink, have a party. They don't want big firewood that will take forever to burn. They want small pieces of firewood. So that's the reason I split mine all small. All right, I'm going to get back to splitting. 580 people watching. Wow. Up. Looks like one of my customers just confirmed a delivery for next week. Well, this Monday. So that's where this firewood's going to go, to a customer that just got back to me and said, hey, take it. So, man, I had 500 subscribers, viewers. Oh, well. Well, let's get back to some splitting, eh? Where am I from? I'm from South Jersey. Also, I've never had people ever complain about the size of my firewood. Everybody always says that they love the length. They love it. So I don't change it because they say that they like it. So if they say that they like it, I keep it. I haven't had anybody say that they're too big. Or too small, so I just stick with that. I'm from Idaho, North Carolina. Welcome, welcome. Cheers. Can you use wood fencing as firewood? Yes. Did some today with the sledge and wedges. Honest work. Yes, indeed. Hey, welcome, welcome. Cheers. Thanks for joining me. How long can you keep firewood? That depends on if it's on the ground or on a pallet. If it's on a pallet and it's dry, a decent amount of time. But if it's on the ground, it will collect moisture and it will start to mold. So you really want to try to keep it off the ground. And once it's like, if it's really, really dry, you can keep it for a long time. I mean, over time, eventually, if moisture gets there, like if leaves fall on it and rot, it will eventually start to decay and whatnot. But you can store firewood if it's dry for a decent amount of time. Hey, what's up, guys? I got 3 new people to join. Thanks for watching. Cheers. I don't have much time until I'm going to have to dip. So I'm going to try to split as much firewood as I can. back so I can shut these gates. Alright, maybe we can move this camera up or something. I'll just show this firewood splitting. Alright, so this is what I'm going to do, because I'm running out of daylight. Well, daylight and slash time. So what I'm going to do is I got a pile that I'm going to toss the rest of the firewood into the trailer, because I got to deliver it tomorrow. So I want to try to save as much time of so I don't have to, when tomorrow comes, I don't have to split firewood. I can just load the trailer and go. So I got this pile that's right next to it. I'm just going to throw in the rest of the firewood and fill the trailer. So I don't have to worry about anything Monday morning. I can just, Monday evening technically, after my work, and I don't have to worry about it. I can just load it up and dump, only because it starts to get dark around 5 o'clock, which is around when I normally get home. So I like to deliver, if I can, in the daytime so the customer can see the wood and I can see where I need to put it. So that's the one reason I like to at least get there in the daytime, because it's a lot easier to see where the customer wants it, and it's a lot easier to back down their driveway if I have to back down their driveway, if I can see. Now if I end up stacking it and it starts to get dark, I do have lights and generators and stuff that I will bring if I have to, but it's not preferred. My preferred is daytime. But with this daylight savings in winter, you don't really have much of a time that you can actually deliver in the daytime, and it's already dark. So that's why I'm hand loading some of this stuff that's already split. Because if I don't have a firewood delivery scheduled, when I split, it goes right into my bunker. So then, if I have a firewood delivery, I split. If I can split a whole cord of wood, throw it right in that dump trailer, I would. But if I start to run out of time, then I always have some wood that is split up that I can fill the dump trailer with. So it's kind of like a backup pile, I guess you could say. And feel free to ask any questions, or if you have any comments, feel free to put them in the chat. I can't see my phone right now, but as soon as I look at my phone or whatnot, I'll try to answer them as soon as I can. And I think at one point I had 500 people watching, which is, I think this is probably the second time it's happened, which I really appreciate. A lot of times I'll get like
25 people watching, and then that's about my max. So as many people as I have watching, I think the last time I looked it was like 190 something. Thank you. It's appreciated for sure. Winter is definitely a busy season for firewood, which I'm so glad a lot of my customers order ahead of time and order in March. So glad, because in October, November, and December, I normally have a long waiting list, and I'm normally sometimes 3 to 6 weeks out in deliveries. So I always tell my customers, if you order, even if you order in January, even January sometimes is still busy. But that's why most of the time I tell them, hey, order in March. You're less likely to wait in line for delivery. You can get it delivered as soon as possible. And when winter comes, you're not sitting on your couch going, I don't have firewood, calling different 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 different firewood companies. Some firewood companies are already sold out of firewood. So then you know you have it, it's dry. So that's what I always tell people. Get it in the beginning of the season, because that's also when I'm more available to go deliver firewood. Plus I got longer days as well. So I can actually deliver more firewood because we have a lot more daylight. So it's a win-win, which a lot of my customers, if they're returning customers, I say, hey, call me in March. Call me in April. Call me anytime in the beginning of next year. A lot of them do. I mean, there's some people that called me in the winter time, and they already have their firewood for that winter. For the next year, they're getting firewood for the next year after that. So they're calling in December, but they're no rush to get it because they already have their wood for the winter. They're getting wood for next winter. So, which I don't mind. They're like, hey, if you have customers that need the firewood right now, they're like, I don't need it right now. It's not an emergency. I'm getting firewood for next year. And they would be the person that I'll be like, oh, thanks. And I would let a couple people go that maybe weren't planning ahead and need the firewood a little bit more, which is nice. If they don't need the firewood and they're letting somebody that might need it go ahead of them, which is always nice. Or have some people, they don't want to wait 3 to 6 weeks to get it delivered, and they're like, hey, can I pay you more money if I cut in line? I said, absolutely not, because it's not fair to the people who are waiting just because you pulled out some green pieces of paper and to cut in line. So I never let anybody cut in line. The only time somebody might be able to cut in line is if they are really close by. Like it will take almost no time to deliver it. Maybe those are the customers. Maybe I'll let them cut, like prevents, like if they're like right down the road from me, sure, I'll go deliver that on a Saturday or something because it's really quick. But a lot of them, no matter how much money you offer me, it's not enough to cut in line because other people are waiting unless you. So another thing I also do is in the winter. Well, it is winter now, but once it snows, if you want firewood that day, it's emergency. It's automatically more because you didn't plan for the firewood that you needed, and now you're calling me at last minute. I gotta load firewood and whatnot. I count that as an emergency. I haven't had too many of those this year, which I'm glad. But I had one person, funny, this one person for the last month has been calling me saying, hey, he wanted firewood. And that week that he wanted to cut in line. That week that he wanted it, I wasn't available. And I said, hey, I got 4 more deliveries ahead of you, and I'll let you know as soon as I'm available. I shoot him a text and go, hey, I'm available. I can do your delivery. When are you available? He goes, not this week. Okay, next week. I call him, hey, I'm available. When are you available to get your firewood? No response. The guy didn't respond for another 7 days. So pretty much a whole nother week later, he responds and goes, oh, this day and this day would have worked, but they're past already. I'm like, yeah. And then another week didn't work for him. Other days didn't work for him. Now he hasn't answered any of my texts, even though he's called me. He still keeps calling me saying, hey, I need firewood. But he hasn't answered any of my texts or calls about when an available delivery is. So I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I've already gone to the next multiple different people and delivered firewood, and he could have got his firewood delivered 3 weeks ago now, but he hasn't returned my calls, texts, so he just keeps getting pushed farther and farther away, because now at this point, I'm not even going to worry about messaging him or calling him anymore. If he really wants it, he can call me. I'm not sitting there calling him 400 times and hoping that he'll call me back. That's not how I got too many people I'm dealing with. So I'm not going to call. It's the ball's in his court now. So now I'm waiting for him. This guy that I'm delivering to right now, it's a no rush delivery. He wanted 3 cords of wood. This is his second load of 3 cords. So since I don't have anybody else that's well, there's still some people waiting, but it's probably been a week since I delivered firewood to him. I'm gonna knock him out real quick and give him another cord of wood, and then try to see if I can get a couple other people to get a delivery for, and then I'll probably come back to him, because if they want 2 or 3 cords of wood, I don't necessarily deliver it to them all 3 at a time unless they really need it, because they're not going to be burning all 3 necessarily all at the same time. So I have a little bit of time to deliver it or deliver to a couple of other people. But if they want 1 cord, that's one thing. I always try to deliver in a meaningful and a decent amount of time. But if you want 3 cords of wood, there's no sense in me delivering 3 cords all at once when there's other people that are waiting for cords of wood and they only want 1. And even when I told him that, he was pretty cool. He's like, hey, when I dropped off the first load, he's like, hey, if you have anybody else that needs firewood delivered, don't worry about me. I got 1 cord, or you already delivered the 1, so I'll be good to go for a little bit. I'm like, okay. So get these pieces of wood that I missed. There we go. Decent loaded trailer right there. Now I gotta take my phone off this thing. See. We're running out of daylight. Already did that. I have no idea. Does Hedge Mail Good Firewood make? Your van's gonna love pulling that. Oh, that pulls it really, really, really well. It hasn't had a problem with it. I've always pulled firewood in this thing. We did the calculations, and it's perfectly fine. It's a 250, so it's got plenty of power to pull this. I used to, I'll switch my camera around so you can see me. So I used to, where did I put my drink? Oh man, I spilled it. So I used to, before I got that dump trailer, what I used to do was actually stack it in the back of the of the van. I think I have one video up on my YouTube page when I first started my channel. It's like the very first video of me stacking in the van. So this van will hold it. It will pull it. It's the equivalent of I forget how we did it, but if there was 15, so that's a 15 passenger van right there. If it holds 15 people, and I forget exactly what the numbers came up with or how we did it, but it pretty much, this trailer full of wood is the equivalent to 15 people, decent sized people. So not like children or anything, but these vehicles are made to pull. I've seen people hauling a lot heavier loads than I'm doing right now with them vans. Them vans are, because it's a truck chassis. So it is a truck. It is made to pull. This thing pulls it like nothing. I have had no complaints with this thing. This thing's good. It's my lifesaver. Until one day I can get a truck, hopefully. I mean, I spent all my money that I made through Firewood and a lot of my savings on this dump trailer. So I'm glad I at least have a dump trailer and I don't have to stack it in the back of the van, which I did for, let's see, I started it in, I forget when I started it. I'm pretty sure, if I remember, it was probably like at least 4 or 5 years. I had to put tarps in the van, pallet in the back so the firewood wouldn't fall over the front seats. I had to stack the whole entire cord of wood in the van, go to the delivery, unstack it. It was not fun at all. I'll rather stack it in here and dump it out of here than in the back of that van. So my merch is backwards. Let me turn my camera around real quick so you can see it. All right, so I got my hat. I got my shirt. I also, if you have noticed, I have a cup. All my merch, Glowing Firewood. So if you would like to check that out, I think I can link it in the description. There's multiple different colors. Hold on, how do I do this? All right, I can pin this. Give me a second. All right, so I think I tagged it. I'm not sure. But if you go into my YouTube description, my channel bio, you can go check that out. I do have a lot of stuff for sale. I don't have sweatshirts. I do not have sweatshirts out yet. I'm still haven't quite designed them yet. There's a piece of stick in that. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. I gotta go move this trailer and get it parked for tomorrow. So all I gotta do is come home from work, hook the trailer up, and we're good to go on the delivery. So if anybody else has any other questions for me before I excuse me, sign off, feel free to let me know in the comments section real quick. Still have 40 people watching. You know, I hate to leave the 40 people, but if I don't have anything else to put on, then hold on, let me put my phone in this weird cup holder thing because I gotta back my trailer down my driveway. So I gotta back it down the driveway. Get it ready for tomorrow. Go to church. I think they have choir practice, but I know we have church, so that's where I gotta go tonight. And then I got work on Monday, and then I gotta deliver this cord of firewood. What are you drinking? What were you drinking before it spilled? Iced tea. That's all I drink is iced tea. Or occasionally Monsters. But a lot of times all I drink is iced tea. Because our water is not filtered. So I don't really drink our water. Like if I get bottled water, I'll drink it, but it's all mostly iced tea. That was all homemade iced tea. So I make my own iced tea. It's cheaper. I can limit the sugar that's in it, so it's not as sugary as a regular iced tea that you would get in the stores. So it's a little bit healthier. So that is what is in my, what was in my cup. And I put it on the ground, I guess. I don't remember putting it on the ground. I try not to, but I guess I put it on the ground or somewhere by the ground and I knocked it over. But there wasn't much in it. There was probably a couple sips left. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the 6 diamonds, or whatever they are. I still have no idea what to do with those. I probably got like 200 of them now, and I have no idea what to do with them. So thank you. I don't believe I got any super chats. Wow, 50 likes. That's actually pretty good. I normally only get like 20, so that's not bad. I think my highest viewers that I happened to see was 5 something. So thank you for that. I'm gonna just parking this. I'm gonna disconnect my trailer and end the live. If I can get this thing to this trailer straighten out. There we go. And not knock down this telephone pole thing. Easy does it. Real snug. Alright. Let's get this disconnected. Alright. Thank you guys for watching. I will hopefully see you guys on another video. Thanks for watching and have a good one.